Hello! This is Mr. Axebane, and this is episode 1 of Sailwind. Sailwind just got a large update yesterday. It's an early access game, and got a big update. I'm going to start a new game, and I'm going to start on easy, which is actually definitely the preferred way to do it. I actually really like the easy region. It's great, and you actually can go and visit the other regions eventually too. You're not limited to these, but when you change regions from easy to medium and from medium to hard, you're in a totally different region for each of those. But the biggest difference actually is probably the ship that you control. Like this one has 2 masts, and it's a little bit more difficult to learn how to properly sail this. I actually have tried it, and I haven't spent enough time on it yet to actually learn it. And then on hard, there's a ship that's even a little bit larger and a little more complex. I've never even tried to sail this one. Eventually I'd love to. And you can buy these ships too, even if you start on easy. So I'm going to start on easy in the Al region. The game has at least 3 regions. And each region is an archipelago, which is a cluster of islands. And they all have kind of a theme, and they each have their own currency. It's really awesome. You can have currency exchange, like you can exchange your currency for other types, and you can even make money that way, I think, if you get lucky enough or pay attention to it. It's definitely not the primary way that you make money in this game. But the values fluctuate, their currency exchange rates, they fluctuate. So if you actually, keep an eye on it, you can get a better rate. So when you're saving up for a bigger ship, you buy ships in the largest coin, and so the gold lions. So you could save up gold lions by, paying attention to when the conversion rate is good, and converting your local currency over at those times. But you don't have to do it that way. You could, of course, that's only if you want to optimize, Anyway, I'm getting into the weeds already. Sorry. So we're going to get started here in Al. Like I say, this game is in early access. And for me personally, I haven't had that many problems, except maybe learning how to sail properly. There's actually a scroll that you start with, although currently in this update it's actually the wrong scroll. You get the one that covers some of the other types of navigational tools. It's normally you have to buy this scroll here, but anyway, I'll not be using that one really. I'll probably sell, well, actually I will eventually, but this is not the one you normally start with for the noobs. So I mean, it tells you a little bit about the compass, which is a basic tool. But anyway, it covers other tools and stuff. But normally, I'm sure that bug will be fixed soon, though. And I think if you start in the medium or hard region, you'll still get the proper Sailor's Handbook, the starter beginner scroll. It gives you the basics. Anyway. All right, so when you start out, you got a simple ship with one mast and one sail, and it's like a triangular-shaped sail. I believe it's called a lateen sail or something. I don't know anything. Well, I do know now from playing this game, but previously I didn't know anything about real sailing. But this game, at first I got a little frustrated the first few hours because I actually started to think, am I actually going to have to learn all the nautical things, like all the terms, and learn how to really sail in real life? Like I was like, I'm not prepared for this. I actually almost refunded, but this became one of my favorite games of all time. So I'm so glad I didn't. I'm so glad. But at first, it's like you feel like an idiot, or I did, because only thing I knew from sailing previously was pretty much from video games, and the things that video games teach you usually is like you can sail directly into the wind. It's just kind of slow. And when you steer, you get immediate response like a vehicle on land, and it's like driving a car on the water. There's more to it. There are other actual true sailing sims, but they're pretty rare. But this one combines like a nice basic sailing sim that's apparently pretty accurate, with cargo delivery and a little bit of survival element, or kind of a lot of survival element, which is actually good in a way because you gotta have something to do when it takes like 20 minutes maybe for a short trip. But you can save the game during a trip. Whenever you exit the game, it'll save. Although, it's in early access, theoretically saves could be, bugged. So you have to start, you might have to start over it eventually. Who knows? But anyway, I haven't encountered that much problems. A lot of times I forget this is even an early access game, to be honest, when I'm playing it. It's one of those that just feels good to me. Alright, so when you start out, you can't do trade. And trade is where you choose what goods you buy and where you deliver them to try to get the best profits, obviously. How you doing, sir? But you have to have reputation before they're just gonna let you do that. Just like so you start with missions, and missions are great because they're good for the beginning, and you can do them well into the later game if you want. But they may not earn as much money as trading, but you don't have to have any upfront money to buy the trade goods with, and also you get a good amount of reputation from doing them. So missions get you reputation and some earnings, and then eventually when you can afford it, you'll make more money by doing actual trading of your own and figuring out your own runs, your own destinations and whatnot, and cargo. Anyway, so we're going to start with missions because you have to get enough reputation and to get a little bit of money in your pocket to be able to purchase trade goods to do your own trades. All right. So we're in Neverden right now, and I actually have an awesome feature of my recording software where I can draw stuff on the screen. So we're right here on this map, and as you can see, this region, the Alank region, the largest island is Gold Rock City here. You can see it from pretty far away. And so it's excellent for getting your a basic idea of where you are, you know, because you can definitely get lost in this game. You can get lost at sea. You can go out into the open ocean, and if you want to be ballsy with it, I'm actually thinking about doing that for this series later on, in later episodes. You can even go out into the open ocean with a small ship, which obviously very dangerous. Not a good idea, but it's possible. If you get lucky enough and you avoid all the storms and somehow, you know, you might make it, and you don't have like too much cargo, and you brought enough food and water somehow. Anyway, so our first destination will probably be Gold Rock. It's an excellent route. But we're going to see here. So in the mission screen, first page at the top should be the most profitable one. I think that's how it works, or the one that's paying the most. But you want to also check like how many crates, the amount, and how heavy perhaps if you're going to worry, because you don't want to overload your ship, obviously. Anyway, so Tuna to Al Nalim looks like a good one, but I think we're going to do Gold Rock. We could take mail, and I'm sure there's other things. We could take dates. We could take coconuts. Although I don't know that we could do 3 missions at once. I think you can only do 2 until you get your reputation up. So we're going to start simple. We're going to do, we're going to do mail to Gold Rock City, accept. We're going to take dates to Gold Rock City, accept. And I'd like to take another, but I don't think they will let me. Yeah, not enough rep. That's fine. That's fine. They don't know us. We came out of nowhere, and they're like, oh yeah, I mean, you can try to be a merchant tradesman on the sea, and if you survive, you can come back for more. You know, that's kind of what they're doing, right? All right, so. Luckily, the game starts you out with a barrel of water and a crate of food that'll keep you going for a couple of deliveries, probably, before you have to even think about resupplying. So we don't necessarily have to buy any food. Hello, sir. But we could get a little bit of emergency rations. I'll go ahead and do that. That's actually not a bad idea, too, because, well, actually, the bread probably won't give us that much nutrition. But if we forget to resupply and comes down to an actual emergency, we'll have... actually, I might move that over. We'll have emergency food. And you can bring your inventory up with tab key, and if you have something in your hands, like a small thing, maybe not a big crate, but like food or a scroll, whatever, you can left click on any of these 5 circles and place it in your inventory. Alright, and then you press tab again to close that. So we could buy coconut wine by the bottle, or rum by the barrel. So obviously you could look at the value, or when you arrive at any destination, I think you get updated on the prices there, right? So the information you have could be outdated, but the prices will fluctuate, and it's actually a simulated economy, and the player is not the only one that affects it. The player does affect it, though. If you take the same goods to the same places over and over, well, heck, you're really providing a lot of supply, and if there's not enough demand, well, the price is going to go down. And also, it simulates other traders, NPC traders, just doing trades in the background, that you don't see them. Well, you do see traders out on the sea, but I think those guys are out there just for visual variety, so that it doesn't seem like you're the only human being out that's on the seas. But they're also kept track of, off-screen, you could say. So prices will change over time, even if the player didn't intervene. Okay, so there's also all these cool things we can buy here, too. One thing I like to do is get me a lantern hook at the start to hang the lantern on my ship. I've already got 1 lantern to start you with 1. Firewood and fish hooks, or that's lantern candles, but they got firewood here. And, there's the fishing hooks. So, let's see, how much money do we have? Because absolutely, my first goal is to get a fishing rod, fish hooks, and a grill. The first two of those are very easy. I could probably buy them right now, but my only option then would be to buy to eat raw fish. But I probably will do that pretty early. But actually, I think I'm going to buy the broom, even though it's not efficient. It's actually very inefficient for me to buy this. But it's cool. You can actually use it. Like, you can actually sweep your ship to clean it. And creative players have actually got really cool with it. I never would have thought of this. I can't believe I didn't, because I'm an artist in real life. I'm a designer and an artist, like, I guess you could say. And like, I mean, I'm not professional, I guess, but anyway, I make money from it. I've done it, Anyway, but I never thought of it. But players have realized that if you let your ship get very dirty, the boards will turn very dark. So then if you selectively clean only certain areas, you'll have very light wood in the clean areas and dark wood elsewhere, and they therefore could kind of create art, like make their ship customized, make it look like there's two different kinds of wood being used. So cool. I love that kind of creativity from players. Anyway, there's an inn here you could stay at if you need to stay for the night, and as it says here, food and drink are included, so you don't have to worry about buying the food, but they also sell food. There's people in the bars, and this person is sitting on the table wearing nothing but a loincloth, but sometimes you got to do that. Sometimes you got to do that. You just got to do what you got to do. I don't know. Actually, I don't know why he's doing that, but anyway, if you buy them a drink, they'll give you information. They'll tell you basically what kind of goods are being traded out there, like give you hints on what the NPCs are trading, so that if you really want to know like what might be going down in value if you see a bunch of trades to certain places. Anyway, all right, so I don't think I need to buy anything else because we like I mentioned before, we start with a barrel of water and we start with a crate of food. So I just need to load these crates for the mission, and then I can set out. Alright, now I really wish I could take more missions, or that I had some money that I could get some trade goods, because as you can see, my ship is barely loaded at all with these dates, which are pretty lightweight too. That's the smallest type of crate you can get, I think. And the mail is not that, well, it's heavy maybe a bit, but not that much, and it's not that big. Anyway, but that's probably smart that the game doesn't allow you to take on more than you can handle the first time. So that new players don't just be like, well, I took all the missions I could take, and then I drowned at sea because boat flipped over because there was too much crap in there. Anyway, so I'm going to disconnect those mooring ropes. And the only reason I know these nautical terms is because, like, from this game is really... And watching videos, actually. The best series on YouTube I've seen on this game is from Sim Gamer TV. SIMGAMER TV. Sim Gamer TV has an excellent... actually, I say an excellent series. Actually, a couple of series for Sailwind. Also some instructional videos they're so good. Oh my gosh, his videos are so good. Highly recommend those. Anyway, I've learned a lot of the nautical terms from watching his videos. You just casually learn it while you're like watching him play the game, because he uses them. Like, thanks to him, I learned that the right side is starboard and the left side is port. And right there is port. So we are starting off, and let's see, the wind, we can tell by this little flag here, which is, there's another one at the top. The relative wind is pretty favorable. It's coming from behind us pretty much. And so I can probably let this out a bit with W, with F key and then W, or left click. F and left click are interchangeable. So I can left click to start grabbing things, or utilizing like the wheel here, or the wheel. Actually, I don't remember what that is called. Maybe it's called the wheel. Anyway, and then this thing here, the sheet winch. You can left click to start using that as well. So I usually press F for most things, except picking up crates. I've trained myself to use left click, so I use that. Anyway, so the wind's pretty much coming from behind us, and when you're on your ship, you can press C and get an external camera, and that is pretty useful. It does break immersion a little bit, but it's great for seeing the exact angle of the wind relative to your sail. And with these triangular sails, the simplest way to think about these ones is that, so if we've got the wind coming directly at me right now, right? And then you got this thing, which I cannot remember what it's called, but this wooden beam at the top of the mast, above the sail. We can rotate that, or we can affect how much it can rotate with the ropes, with that sheet winch, right? I'm not going to run aground here, am I? That'd be hilarious. Anyway, so the wind is coming directly at the camera right now, right? And the best way you usually want to cross, for these types of sails at least, to cross that beam in the top of the sail is about a 45-degree angle. So that sounds complex, but if you look straight above from it, right, and then think about the direction that the wind is going, we can kind of get an idea of it's definitely not crossing it at a 45. It's kind of hitting it directly almost, you know what I mean? Which would be great for a square sail, but we can get more performance, is what I'm saying, out of this. If we cut it maybe at an angle so that the wind's kind of like hitting it at more of a 45-degree-ish angle and deflecting off it. That's probably more confusing than it needed to be, but I'll tell you this much. I like I mentioned previously, I was worried that I was going to have to learn how to sail in real life to play this game. And that actually may be kind of true with the larger ships. Well, you could learn from the game. The game gives you instructional scrolls and stuff, so it teaches you the basic ways. But it doesn't teach you, all the terms, and it's you don't need to know all the terms. But after playing this for a little while and watching Sim Gamer TV's YouTube videos, I learned enough so that I could intuitively, get around, especially in this small ship with the triangular sail. It's a really nice sail, actually. You can sail almost directly into the wind. You can't do direct into the wind, but maybe 15 degrees off of that, left or right, if you think about it. Like, it's just so, kind of, you're aiming toward it, not toward it, but near-ish. Anyway, you're just off target, if you put your sail straight. Anyway, but I've found that with the smaller ship and the simple sail, the one sail, you don't have that many controls to learn. A lot of it you can kind of think about it intuitively, because the sail is affected by physics. Like, it's a simulation, a real simulation of the wind. You can watch the sail be affected by the wind. Right now, you can see I'm getting maybe not top speed, but like the sail may not be fully full, but it's catching wind, and I'm definitely moving forward. But I'm sure it could be improved. And we can do that. So I think maybe letting it out even a bit more would be nice. Now, our target is Gold Rock City. And we have this compass that it starts you with, and I can pick that up. And then I can actually hold it in my hand, and use it like that. Gold Rock is, we can see it, of course. It's big and stuff. If it were foggy or something, or, if it were too far, we wouldn't be able to really see it. But Gold Rock is huge, and that's intentional. It's a navigational aid, right? So we can look at it, and we can see that it is sort of east, northeast. So it's not quite northeast, but it's kind of somewhere between east and northeast. I think they would say east by northeast, or northeast by east. That sounds weird. Anyway, so yeah, you can hold it like this. You can set it down, like you could put a crate or a table here, and like you can just kind of, can't really see it that well from here. But the best way probably, and I'm pretty sure I learned this from Sim Gamer TV as well. Press tab to bring up your inventory, and left click one of your inventory slots. The middle one is perfect. And put the compass there. The compass works while it's in your inventory. See, it'll move. See, it works while it's in there. So, anyway, we luckily don't really need the compass to get to Gold Rock. We just need our eyeballs, because it's like pretty much right in front of us. So, we're going to do that. I'm just going to sail toward Gold Rock. Now, I purchased myself a lantern hook, so I can pull that out of my inventory, and then I can hook it onto any of the structures of the ship. Well, I don't know about any, but I know a lot of them. But I usually like to pop it, I guess I could try other options eventually, but usually I put it right here in the center. Maybe like that. That's fine. And then I can left click or press F to pick up the lantern, and then I can press R. Oh, R to turn it on, but I can press F while looking at the hook, or left click while looking at the hook, and attach the lantern. Now, I don't want to waste it, so I'm going to press R while looking at it to turn that off. There's our barrel of water. I probably already need to start, I probably need to go ahead and get a bit of water to drink, and I apologize, this is a little bit loud. Not sure why this sound effect is so loud compared to the others, but I like to have my sounds on this game kind of high. It shouldn't be too super, whoops, it shouldn't be too super high on the, oh, it's going to fall out. That was pretty sure the physics. I'm pretty sure the cup fell over. I lost that water. That's fine. I've tried to do a thing here. I like to yeah, if you right-click or press R, you can close this. And if you look at that post, you can stick it on there. And then if I press R, okay, that's crooked. All right, that's fine. You don't have to do that, but I like to mount the map up there a lot of times and just have a hands-free way of, seeing the map over here. Now you could. It's even better probably to put it in your inventory. Like if I was holding it, I could put it in one of these slots and then pull it out whenever I need to look at it. That's what I might end up doing. But for now, this is how I usually do it. So, all right. Now you can actually move the table around. You can get rid of the table. You can throw it in the ocean. You can sell it at the nearest village or town. You can buy shelving. You can buy beds. I can't really fit a bed on here, but I've got a hammock already installed on the ship. But you can put shelving and other furniture and stuff in your ship, and you can actually put items on those shelves and stuff. Oh, it's so cool. So you can customize your ship a little bit, and in a couple of different ways actually. The one I just mentioned. I think I'm drifting to the right a bit. Starboard. Sorry. But you can also customize how many masts your ship has and how many sails and what kind of sails within certain limits. Of course, I can't put give me 30 masts on this, sir. 30? We can only do 3. Give me 3 of your largest on that little thing. You can only put 1. Actually, you might be able to put 2 on here. Anyway, you can change out the sails and make your own kind of custom ship, and if you do it wrong, it won't go anywhere probably. Or you might make one that you're incapable of learning how to sail. I probably do need that for now. Anyway, it's so cool. I haven't never gotten enough money to do that yet. Oh well, I may have had enough, but just didn't spend it yet. But it's so cool. It does take a little bit of time to make money in this game. It's not too bad, but until you get your own fishing rod and hooks and a grill. Or even just the rod and the hooks, you can have your own food that's much cheaper than you can fish for your food, right? Instead of buying it. Because if the next time I buy food, it starts you with this crate of cheese. I got a crate of goat cheese here, right? There's 12 of those in there. That'll last me for a little while-ish, a few days of game time. After that, I'm going to have to buy a crate. When I buy a crate of that, it might be 100 Alank lions. I mean, if you think about that, that's a couple times a week. I mean, dang, if I freaking... Yeah, it's as soon as possible, basically. I want to start fishing for my own food. Because if you don't, if you don't worry about these things, eventually, you'll make money slower, if you're not being more efficient like that. Always buying your food, buying it new. One nice thing, though, about buying it new, in the new update now, that just came out yesterday, actually. Food now can spoil over time. However, if the crate has not been opened yet, it won't start. So this is a sealed crate because I haven't popped it open for the first cheese yet. So if I bought 4 of these, if I only open 1, then the other 3 I think should be fine until I'm ready to actually open it, and then it'll start to decay, I guess. But anyway, you want to especially if you try to do a long voyage, if you try to cross the ocean. Yeah, you better make sure you have enough food and water to make it. I freaking love this game. The immersion is off the charts. I've actually thought about this many times. I'm pretty sure. Now, some people are going to be like, get out of here, but I'm pretty sure that this is the most immersive game I've ever played. I'm going to turn up the sound a little. You should be able to hear it fine, but temporarily I'm going to turn it up so you can just we can just listen. It's calm right now, too. You can just listen now to the immersion. Of course, sound is not the only element to immersion, but it's very, very, very important. I never had thought about it until some of the games I've played that have a simpler graphical style. Typically you think the best graphics also add to immersion. And yeah, that definitely can be true, especially when the environments are designed in a believable way, and stuff. But I've found that games even with simple graphics can get you pretty freaking immersed if the other elements like sound design and the gameplay are very immersive. And this game to me has immersive gameplay, immersive sound, immersive visuals. Well, not top-of-the-line graphics, but plenty good enough to feel like you're actually sailing a ship and all that. And the waves look so good. You can't see it right now. They're really simple right now and dark as heck. But you'll see as I play, or if you play this game, it's the beauty. Oh, the ocean can be so beautiful, and the color of the water is actually different depending on which of the 3 regions you're in. Or if you're in the open ocean, it's a little bit different color, and they take on a different color during storms. They have sort of a gray, almost gray metallic look when it's getting stormy, and it's just beautiful. And it simulates the waves, obviously. It simulates weight distribution of your cargo and the player. If you see, I'm standing to the left, or sorry, port. When I'm standing on the port side of my ship, it tilts a little bit more that way. If I go to the starboard side of the ship, it tilts to the right a bit more. You see? So even my weight is calculated. Now this is a very slow-paced game. Now that's obviously an advantage in a lot of ways, but I mean we're talking freaking slow-paced. But you can exit at any time, and it saves your progress. And when you reload in, your ship won't be going at whatever speed it was, though. You'll just be stationary, and you should be pointing the same direction you were at, but you have to like drop your sails again. But that's good actually, because then you just kind of come back in, and you're kind of set, and you can just kind of casually start sailing again, unless you're trying to go directly in the wind. But I wouldn't. Anyway, so it's very slow. It might take 20-30 minutes to do a relatively short trip. I mean, like this one from Neverden. So we started in Neverden, right? I love this drawing feature. This is not a feature of the game. This is a feature of my recording software. But if I go to Gold Rock, or I am going to Gold Rock, going along this direction, right? Sorry, I lost my train of thought. What the reasoning behind it? But anyway, that's the route that we're taking. Actually, that brings up another important point. In this region, the wind is typically coming from the southwest and going to the northeast, roughly. And it doesn't always do that, you know. But actually, let's see. I think I can do that. Yeah, it's something I think like this. That's what you call prevailing winds, I guess, right? Meaning that a lot of the time, maybe even most of the time, maybe even the vast majority of the time, it's basically going in that direction, right? But it's not always. It could change, you know. It could change. It could be the opposite in theory, but that's not very common at all in this region. But storms, you know, can get the direction of the wind kind of moving around. But oh, I know the point I was making, or I was going to mention. Right. So the distance from Neverden to Gold Rock here, which is going to take me about a day maybe of travel, you know, day and a half. Actually, probably not even a day and a half. But going to Gold Rock, it'll probably take me like 20 to 30 minutes of real time. It sounds kind of crazy, like when you put it that way. Luckily, there's stuff you could do. You could sleep, although I wouldn't leave the sail down so you're not going full speed while you're sleeping, because then you'll probably run aground or overshoot or get lost. But you know, you got to keep up with your water intake, and you know, eventually you're doing fishing, and if you choose to, you don't really have to. I forgot to turn the audio back down. Sorry, folks. That was probably a little bit much. Anyway, yeah, you got to keep up with your food and water needs and your rest. You know, you can't get too tired. You'll actually pass out if you get too tired. So you have stuff to do while you're sailing. Plus, you got to navigate a lot. You know, typically, we've got a very simple destination here. Whenever you're going to Gold Rock, it's pretty easy because it's, you know, you can pretty much always see it unless you get too far out. So it's, you know, that's what I recommend for your first trip. You know, because some places are actually very difficult to find. Like if you try to get to Al Ankh Academy, I say very difficult, but it's just, as you can probably see on the map there, it's a very small island. It's basically just the academy. So it can be a little bit tricky because like you don't see it from as far away. So you'll get to being out there, and you might be on track, but you're like not sure because you don't see it. And then actually, really cool. There's a place just outside this region, up what would be basically up here. Maybe a little bit further, like up here, called Oasis. And so if we, for instance, took a trip from Gold Rock to try to get there, luckily they have a lighthouse up there, so you can spot the lighthouse at night. Maybe even during the day, possibly, because it has like a reddish tint. Anyway, You pretty much got to try to find that lighthouse, and you'll go so far. It's even though it's only just outside this region, it's far enough that Gold Rock City will no longer be in view. It'll be just outside of view by that time. So, oh, my character's very sleepy. Uh, so you could easily get lost trying to get to Oasis. I don't think they'll even offer you a mission to Oasis until you have decent reputation. But anyway, yeah, that's actually pretty thrilling. First time I did that, I thought I was lost. I was like, I lost track of Gold Rock City, and I was just desperately watching for Oasis, and it was nighttime, and I finally eventually saw the lighthouse. But oh man, it felt like I was never gonna, like I was gonna be lost in the ocean forever. It was like a very thrilling experience, to be perfectly honest. You don't get that from a lot of games these days. If I start harping on it, I'm gonna sound like an old man yelling at the clouds with the whole like, games these days give you the dang quest markers to everything. It's a glowing trail that points to the destination. How are you ever gonna explore? But actually, that is a valid question. Maybe can you explore when you're always shown exactly where you are on a thing that's like better than GPS and every other possible destination around you? You know, I know it's like, oh, come on, are you saying that games that make billions of dollars doing that, whether they're doing it wrong? Like, I'm just saying, like, to get that thrilling sense of true exploration, you need a little bit more. Either you need you need to work a lot harder at it if you do that kind of mode, and you'll never be able to get truly lost. Or you can have exploration where being lost is a possibility, and you're never necessarily positive exactly where you are, except when you're like at the dock. And you're like, well, I know I'm at Gold Rock as I'm looking at it, I'm standing at it. But like other than that, you're never like quite sure. That is thrilling. That is a sense of exploration. And I guess this isn't necessarily an exploration-focused game. I mean, it is sort of. For me, I feel that, but it's more of a simulation, a sailing simulation with some cargo delivery and some survival elements. But if you don't try to, my character's gonna pass out if I don't go to sleep. Yeah, okay, so I gotta take care of my needs. I don't need any water. If I was thirsty, it wouldn't really let me sleep for long. I'm a little bit hungry, but it should still allow me to sleep for a bit. Anyway, I'm gonna sleep. And this is immersive too. When you sleep, you actually can't choose to wake up. You can only choose to get out of the hammock when you start to wake up. But if you start to wake up and then you let it'll go back to sleep if you're still tired. But if you're extremely tired, like oh gosh, I forgot to do. Oh no, this is a perfect example. I forgot to do a critical thing. Like raise the sail, maybe throw the anchor out there, so that I wouldn't keep traveling. I'm gonna run aground probably. This is perfect though, because this will show you this is so frequently a new player's experience in this game, and it's the first experience. It's one of the early experiences I had, and it'd be very frustrating. Okay, let's see what happens. This is exciting. I usually don't do this because I get to talking and I forgot. Okay, almost ran aground. Yeah, woo, baby, we got close. Let me yank it to the port side here on the wheel or whatever this is called, and thank my lucky freaking stars that I didn't run aground. I was almost did. I don't know if I could beach it over. You can't really see the island there, but I was like, I would have ran right into that cliff face. Another common thing is to overshoot, to where you're like the other side of the island, and then, or you get to where your position is like it's kind of far, and you're like, wait a minute, where am I? Like you could see, might even be able to see Gold Rock, but not be sure. You might be, but then you can use your compass to see what direction it is, but that'll only give you an idea of like a possible line where you could be along that line. I'll show you guys on the map if it comes. I'll show you right now. So what I mean is like, let's say we had overshot it big time, right? Speaking of which, let me make sure. And I probably don't have optimal sail position for whatever the wind is, or I haven't even looked at it, right? But obviously, it's whatever I'm getting is enough to push the ship because I'm still going forward. So I guess I shouldn't mess with it then. Anyway, right. So we started in Neverden, and I sailed to Gold Rock City, and I went to sleep. I was really tired too. Luckily, I didn't sleep too long. I could have easily slept too long, and if I did, I would have either run right into the cliff face. It looks like I would have hit it like right here. But a common result would have been, maybe I would have just missed it, right? And shot over to here. And maybe I wake up here. Well, that could be a problem, you know. Then I might be very disoriented as to what the heck's going on. Luckily, my destination was Gold Rock, so I just turned back the other way and go back to the big freaking island. But if my destination was anywhere else on this archipelago, like here, or the Nevedon, you know, I could be a little bit of I could be a little bit of trouble. You always have the option to recover your boat, though. If you press escape, and then press the blue button at the bottom that says recover boat, and it's pretty generous. It puts you in the most the nearest port, I think, generally, and it will refill all your bars. So if you were starving or you were super thirsty and tired, all that would be refilled. So it's fairly generous, but you know, it may set you back a day or two if you ended up where you didn't want to be. But it's definitely nice to have that option as a last resort. You also have to use that if you sink your ship, because if that baby ends up at the bottom of the ocean, luckily there's no permadeath. You don't have to start over. You just can recover your boat. It'll put you and your boat back at the nearest port. I don't know why I turned that on. I don't really need that. Alright, so here we are. We're almost there. First delivery is almost done. I just got to do the bit more sailing, avoid any obstacles around the ports, because there are usually some sandbars or small bits of land that will usually, except on maybe the smaller villages where they just can't afford to do that, you'll usually be marked by wooden posts sticking up out of the water. So I got to watch for those, steer around those, and pull into port at Gold Rock and make our first delivery. And right there you can see those posts sticking out of the water there that warn of shallow waters there. Either there's an underwater, like a sandbar that extends out more than you would expect, or a bit of land that just is above the surface, and if you're not paying attention you may miss. It's basically telling us to steer well clear of that little jetty or jutting bit of land there. In fact, yeah, I think you can kind of see it's like pretty freaking shallow here. Actually, we can get out and just kind of swim around. See, yeah, there it is. Yeah, it's pretty shallow, but we're fine. If you fall out of your ship, you should always be able to. If you hold down Shift and press W, you should be able to go a little bit faster than your ship top speed, so that you could get back to your ship. Which may seem a little weird, but you know. Otherwise, what would you do if you fell out and wasn't like? Anyway, it's a game, so it allows you to get back to your ship. And when you are in the water and you want to get back in your ship, which will happen at first a lot, you'll fall, like at the docks especially, you'll fall into the water a lot. That's one of the things that I don't like about this game. It's a little frustrating at the docks, but whenever you are in the water, whether you're at the dock or you're out in the ocean, you just got to get to either side until you see you get close enough to one of these ladders to left click or press F, and you'll climb that right up into your ship. Okay, I'm really freaking close to the dock, so now I need to bring the sail up quite a bit. I mean, I could probably make it all the way because I've got enough momentum. I'll keep moving. Plus, you actually will catch a bit of wind even when your sail is completely rolled up. It didn't used to be that way in this game, but realistically, it would still catch a little bit of wind. It just wouldn't be optimal at all. But anyway, so should have enough speed to make it into port. And I think I may go ahead and get a fishing rod here after I make my money. It's going to require, I think, a little over 400 Ankh lions to purchase the grill to grill the fish on, but I can just eat raw fish until then. That grill's going to be nice, though. There's even smokers now, which apparently maybe a little bit bugged right now, but they just came out. They were part of yesterday's update. And now you can smoke meats. You can smoke your own meats. You can buy a smoker. You can smoke meats. You can salt meats. You can dry. There's a drying racks that you can dry, like fruits on and stuff. There's even now like knives and that you can like slice up fruits and stuff to make drying take less time. Anyway, let me grab these mooring lines and get the. Whoop! There we go. See, this is exactly what I'm talking about. It's so easy to fall into the water at the docks. And the docks are usually too high to get back onto them by jumping. Very frustrating. And there's no ladders on the dock usually, so you got to use the ladder on your ship. Small price to pay for such an amazing game, though. This is one of my favorite video games. If I'm telling you right now, I'm just. If I had to make a list of my top 10, my top 10 video games of all time, this game is going to be on that list. I don't know where it's going to be exactly. Maybe, I don't know if I had to guess 7 or 8, maybe, which is still pretty freaking good. Maybe higher, maybe 6, but I haven't made the list. The list doesn't exist. But if I did, top 10 list of video games I've played of all time. I've been playing video games since Windows 95 and stuff, okay? Since, like, Scorched Earth, which was even before Worms. Like, Worms was like took their idea from Scorched Earth. Anyway, nobody knows what the hell I'm talking about, but I've been playing games a long freaking time, which doesn't give anybody any authority. It doesn't give anybody any skill. Some people think you play games and it makes you like a master at making games, but you should try to make games. Small, simple games? Oh yeah, easy. Games that people will buy? Not quite as easy. Anyway, I'm going to deliver these crates, and then we'll see how much money we made. There we go. Let's see. We have 85 Alchemist lions. Oh, and if we want to buy anything, I probably need to do it now before the markets close up. So we're going to check out the market. Gold Rock has a nice big market. I'm assuming it's the biggest market in the game. Well, definitely in this region. Maybe not in the game, but it's got a lot of options. So there's a lot of different food we could buy. A lot of different supplies. I mean, you can buy food by the crate, you know, or individually. There's all kinds of tools and options. Oh, here we go. Here's the grill. 434 Alchemist lions right now. Smoker for 521. I swear, I'm pretty sure the price was a little bit different when I was testing out the new update yesterday. So I guess those prices fluctuate too, potentially. That's pretty cool. You can buy crates of firewood for the grill. And here's a drying rack, that what I was talking about before. Here's some tables. Anyway, what do I need? I don't really need water or food yet. I guess I'm gonna go ahead and buy a fishing pole. Oh man, 65. Wait. Oh, hang on. Oh, and they'll give you individual hooks for free. I like that. You can just take them. They're 0. You just put them in your pockets. They don't mind. You want to buy a crate of them? It's only like 9. But I think the fishing rod was cheaper at Neverdin, weren't it? Which makes sense. This is the city, right? So maybe I won't buy it here. Or maybe it wasn't cheaper. The broom's the same price. That was 8. Huh? Maybe I didn't look closely at the price last time. I could get another lantern, but I don't know if I need that on my ship. I could go ahead and buy just some food to eat right now, you know. Might as well. Thank you, sir. Oh, that is fine goat cheese. I will have another, sir. That is quite good. There we go. Almost full. Well, not quite, but we're most of the way. Over here they sell beds and the smaller tables, shelves, small shelves, large shelving units. Oh man, these are so cool. I don't even know what this is. Oh, large tables. Really large tables? Really small tables. I mean, they have like, can I buy the door? Nice door. Can I buy the... No, you can't buy the door. Long table. I mean, come on. Come on. You gotta be... I don't know. I think it's cool. I think it's cool how much you can customize your ship. You can actually buy a pipe to smoke these different tobaccos, and they give different effects, apparently. Like, ones may make you sleepy. Ones may make you... I don't know why you'd want to make yourself sleepy, but, you know, whatever. It'd make you not so sleepy, I guess. Make you not as hungry. I don't know. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and buy the fishing rod, even if it maybe was cheaper, because the price for the broom's the same. What about the lantern? I don't remember, or the hook, what was it? I don't remember what it was, but 14 sounds about right. I'm going to go ahead and buy it. Oh, we got the money. Or do I have the money? I think I do, a little bit. Wow, I'll be almost broke, though. Dang, hang on. Okay, maybe the first time yeah, maybe when I run out of food the first time, I'll buy one crate of food, another crate of goat cheese, perhaps. And then after that crate, I'll look into getting a fishing rod and some hooks to get started for the most basic type of fishing. Cause I won't be able to grill the fish, but I can eat the raw ones. So, really cool stuff over here. Hello, sir. This vendor has our our regional map, but also the ocean map, because the other two or more regions that are out there are shown on the ocean map, and you can actually see Oasis right here, and we are at Gold Rock City right here. Makes Oasis look so close, don't it? We could just get there in no time. No, it's a little bit out there. Not really far, but it's a little bit. Anyway, so I'm definitely going to buy that. Not right now, but as soon as I can afford it. That'd be so cool to have an ocean map. We can dream about what will be the first other archipelago that we'll try to get to. And I want to do it in this small ship, which is very ill-advised. You should not do that, but I want to try to do that. Oh, my character's really tired. Extremely. This thing you can use to measure your speed. They've got compasses, fancy compasses, super compasses. They got the quadrant, spy glasses and things. Anyway, I need to go actually to my ship and sleep. So I can't really. I'll get by with some goat cheese, but hey, you know, it's our first delivery. We're just getting started. So I'm gonna sleep, and then I'm pretty sure the mission office up there will be open 24 hours a day. So I'll still be able to get a mission after that, even if it's the middle of the night. Do I have a little bit of water left in there? Yeah, nice. I'm gonna drink some water, have maybe one bite to eat from my supplies, and then sleep a bunch, because I'm extremely tired. Oh, it's gonna break the seal if I do that. Well, I got to eventually anyway. Screw it. I mean, that's what it's there for. It's my first supply crate, so there we go. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and. Oh, that made me thirsty. Okay, yeah, it kind of makes sense. A salty cheese a bit there, maybe. You know, salt helps to preserve stuff, so makes sense. And now you can do that. You can salt your meats to make them last longer, or to make them dry faster, or some such. You can smoke meats. It's all kinds of cool stuff. Anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and sleep a bunch. There we go. Fully rested. Which means I'm probably hungry again and thirsty again. That's how it goes. So I'm going to hydrate here. And then actually I'm going to check how much water is left in this barrel too. The barrel has 35 out of 60, so it's still almost a little more than half full. Which probably means that it lasts for a couple more days. So we probably have maybe a day and a half of food and maybe a couple days of water. That's just a rough estimate that popped right out of my brain. So don't rely on it, but I think it's something like that. Now let's see about what kind of missions you got. And it's not always the same. I'm sure it changes. You know, so every save game, every time you start a new game, I'm sure it's going to start a little bit different, and then it fluctuates over time. And also, there's world missions too. I forgot to mention. There's local, and then there's world, and that's because once you get the bigger ships and the much higher reputation, and you got the patience for it. I mean, you can sail between regions, like from one archipelago to another, crossing the big open ocean. But you better have your navigational tools and know how to use them. At least one or two tools, or just be really, really ballsy and say, "Yeah, I'm just going to go straight east," and until I see something, but it probably won't work. Okay, so we've got a tobacco is usually pretty lucrative. 58, 55, 51. Yeah, so Alchemist Island, straight south of us, would be a great mission, it looks like. That's 3 crates. But we'll see, what else would be interesting. Albacore Town is cool, but that's a challenging port, we'll say that. Easy to beach yourself. Be careful when going to Albacore Town as a newbie. You may have trouble getting into the dock without beaching yourself. It's a narrow port to navigate, and the guys down there at Albacore Town they're awesome. They're doing their best, but they may not be able to afford to put those posts to point out every little sandbar out there. You might have to use your own eyeballs. Like, anyway, it's a little bit more challenging to get in and out of there, is what I'm saying. So yeah, we're gonna go ahead and just do the Alchemist Island trip. It's I know that I can do that. I know that I'm capable. I know that I'm strong. I know that uh, pretty sure I could do it. So I'm gonna take these and load up the ship here in the middle of the night. I look like I'm running around, sprinting in the middle of the night, like I'm robbed the place, and I'm like getting away with the tobacco. They told me to do this, folks. They told me to do this. I'm supposed to be doing this. Don't worry. All right, so I'm gonna get this crap loaded up, and then we'll be going straight south to Alchemist's Island. And I'm gonna turn on the lantern because holy crap. Alright, so I'm sure that tobacco is really lightweight too, so we're going to be very light, and we don't even have very large cargo either, but I can't take more than 2 missions yet, so I got to get more reputation before I can even think about getting reckless with my cargo and doing stuff like stacking up heavy things, and I don't really do that much, but you know, you can't help but like, at least I can't, but want to like make the most profit, or not the most, I don't usually min-max in any kind of game. But like, yeah, I want to make good money. I want to get because it takes a while to earn enough to get the bigger ships. I can barely see the ropes. So yeah, it's like, you know, I'm gonna be tempted to put too much cargo in there at times, but that'll be, you know, have to be a little careful with that. So one way you can get going when you're starting out, whether you're actually in the middle of the ocean or at a dock, and if you're on the dock, it'll be even more effective. Is you can like press F when looking at your ship. I have to crouch with control, hold control, and then press F to shove this ship to get a little bit of going, to get it going. you know what I'm saying. All right, so I'm gonna try to turn this thing around. I think because I'm kind of going, I'm gonna be going toward the wind, like into the winds, and you can't do that. And I haven't even brought the sail down, but I've already got momentum from that shove. Plus the sail is gonna grab some wind at some point. Alright, now I'm trying to get into the wind directly. So let's turn it back actually. Because let's see, I want to go south anyway. Yeah. So we're gonna go more southwardly. I'm gonna point more to toward the south. And then I'm going to bring the sail down. Oh, and I need to grab the sheet winch and with S pull it all the way in. I've found with this ship and these triangular sails, or sail, singular, if you're anywhere near trying to sail directly into the wind, like, you want to pull that sheet winch all the way in usually. Which actually makes that post at the top of the sail, which I cannot remember the name of, pretty much straight in line with your ship. And there we go. I got enough wind. See, you can see now the sail is getting some wind, it's grabbing some wind, and it's using it to create forward momentum. Why am I explaining it in such a basic way? Well, anyway, the point is that the wind is like, or if I was sailing directly upwind, it'd be like right over there, right? And that is kind of where we want to go, but we can't, because you can't sail directly into the wind. But with this sail, in the right configuration, we can sail almost directly in, which is what we're doing here, just to the left of it. Or just to the right of it. And in fact, if your destination is directly upwind, you have to go in a zigzag pattern that way. Kind of aiming a little off of it to the left for a little while, and then a little off of it to the right. I'll show you here with this ship. It's easy to do this with this ship, to turn into the wind and then past that point to where you start to grab some wind again. In a larger ship, it's not that easy. You can't just turn and do that usually. Unless you got a lot of momentum and you'll keep that turn. You'll keep enough momentum to make it through the turn. With this ship, it's easy though, I've found. Alright, and now, this is definitely not where we want to be going, right? So we do that for a little while, and then we would turn back. You wouldn't do it maybe as quickly as I'm doing it right now. I may not alternate that quickly, but somewhat quickly. And now you see I'm starting to grab some wind this direction. I can go ahead and kind of straighten it out. I may not be going optimal speed, you know, whatever, but I'm going. And then Sailwind, that's a victory. That's a victory in and of itself. If you get faced directly into the wind, though, and you stay there for too long, you get stuck, right? It's called being in irons. There's a couple of different ways in this game you can get out of that. You could try to get out of this ship, and in the water you can press F like I did at the dock and shove it to get some momentum again, then try to turn real quick and get back to a better angle. I've never done it, but it's possible also, I think, to loosen out, like let out the sheet winch a little bit. And then, apparently, I've never done this. If you look at the post here itself, and then I guess you left click it. What do? Grab it? Hold down left mouse button maybe and move? Yeah, hold down. Yeah, you can kind of yank it, like, by hand, because you can do that in a real ship, in a small type ship like this. To force it to get in an angle where you get a little bit of wind. But another way I've found is if you do sit like that and you're facing directly into the wind, and I would demonstrate it, but I'm sure it'll happen to me at some point during the series, and you'll see you'll see the actual example. But if you get pointed directly upwind or into the wind until you're not moving at all, what'll happen is you'll start to move backwards. And in this ship, I've found that if you turn the wheel the opposite direction you want to go, because right, you're going backwards, you're reversing just like a car, except not at all, of course. But you know, the left and right steering principle works the same way. If you're going backwards, you steer the opposite direction you want to go, and turn that way until you get at an angle where you can start to grab some wind again. It's the simplest way to describe it, and I can show you actually with that handy-dandy drawing feature of my recording software. So where are we? What are we doing? Oh yeah, we started at Gold Rock. We're going to Alchemist Island. And if the winds stay unfavorable and maybe directly, I don't know if it is actually directly upwind like right now, but let's say it was, so that we couldn't do a direct shot. Instead, like I say, we would do the zigzag kind of thing. Aim maybe off like that, and then like that, and then like that, and then, you see, it takes you a little longer, but eventually you'll get to something resembling the port. And that's basically what we may have to do. Alright, what direction we got? Right now we're heading southeast. We want to go pretty much straight south. So let's line that up. Now, yeah, man, that's pretty much directly in the wind. So, yeah, we're going to have to do it. We're going to have to do the zigzag pattern. So now I'm pointing more of a south-southwest, or south by southwest. It's not quite southwest, not quite south, in between. And then I'll just switch it to the other side here in a bit. Rinse and repeat, and then eventually we'll get there. There's actually one more important thing to note. I may have said it, but it's very important to stress. In order for this zigzag pattern to work, well, first of all, it needs to be this type of ship, or this type of sail. I believe. But also, you need to make sure the sheet winch is pulled all the way in. So with S, you can pull it. And with W, you can let it out. So with S, you need to pull it all the way in so that it's as tight as it can get, or it's as straight as it can be relative to this. Ooh, almost ran aground here, I think. Don't look at that. Don't look at that. And then, but if we, yeah, because otherwise it'll move back and forth too much. It probably won't be able to get as much wind. May not get any wind. It may just kind of like flop around and not do anything for you. Alright, there's a gold rock, and it's now a little further away. I think it's taking me maybe twice as long to do this trip as to do the last one, because I keep having to sail, you know, sort of close to being directly into the wind. I think that's called close hauled, because you're hauling close to the wind. You're hauling ass right up next to the, I don't know what it's called, but I'm pretty sure that doing close hauled is probably not the fastest way to get around. But we don't have a choice, really. Not that I could think of, because I mean that's what you got to do if your destination is directly upwind, is to zigzag it the whole way. So the winds could change, and they probably changed a little bit until we actually may be able to go directly south. So this is directly south. Still can't do that. Gonna go further to the left or to port, and we can go this direction. So I've been basically switching between roughly southeast and southwest, and it's taking a while. It's taking quite a bit of time, but finally now, it may be hard to see, but finally now, Alchemist Island is in view, and it actually looks like 2 islands, right? And then when you get closer, it'll look like 3 islands. It gets real funky, because if you look closely, Alchemist Island is made up of 2 parts. I mean, most of these islands are actually multi-part in a way. Like Gold Rock City's got these 3. The ship's moving too much for you to see what but yeah, it's more than one piece, and it'll end up looking like 3 islands. Oh, I've gotten off course a bit more. It'll end up looking like, yeah, you can kind of see now. Maybe you can see. It might be hard to see in the video, but there's a piece, there's a piece, and there's a piece. So when you first start playing this game, this is one of those deliveries where, this is actually a decent pay for the delivery, which makes me actually wonder if it's because it's a little more challenging in a way, because the winds might not be favorable, or they're likely to not be favorable. Right now, the winds aren't what they normally are. They're a little off, but this region has pretty predictable winds. But anyway, so it's actually a little more challenging. It's taking a little bit more time, but I'll be making more money. So I don't know if that's part of the calculation. Probably just because this is a rather valuable trade good. Alright, so when I point directly at the island, I can almost do it. And actually, let's see, has the wind changed? Yeah, maybe a little bit. Like, it's not... The island is no longer directly upwind. Oh, and apparently in this game, this is crazy. I can't even... It's hard for me to actually understand how that applies, but, like, it's... But this game has... Not only has it simulated the direction of the wind, but I didn't even know this was a thing, but it makes sense, though. But the wind can change a little bit based on your own speed and direction. Or rather, the amount and the direction of that the wind affects you is going to change if you're going fast and going a certain direction. So the actual wind your ship is experiencing is a combination of the wind direction and then your speed and direction, because that will affect it. So, like I say, I can't even wrap my brain around how that... I mean, I get why that would happen, right? Because when you're moving fast and you're moving in a certain direction, like, that's going to alter the effect you're getting from the wind. But I can't apply it in my head in 3D, so I don't know how that... But it's pretty cool. Like, this game apparently has that much going when it comes to the simulation of the wind direction and how it affects your sail and your ship. So it's now good and dark out here, and I'm just continually applying this zigzag strategy. Also, I'm getting kind of tired, but I might have enough to make it. I might have enough. What would you say? Vitality. I might have enough restfulness to make it to port here in Alchemist Island. So that's what I'm going to try to do. I think I might move this lantern hook up here and move the lantern, because it is kind of right in front of my face almost. It never really bothered me before, but I've been looking at it and thinking this is not optimal. It's kind of annoying. I can't even I can't see the whole of my sail. So maybe I'll pick this up and try something a little different. Like, oh, that first spot was even better. Come on, yeah, like that. Boom. It doesn't light up, the sail and this little, whatever this thing is. Is it the weather vane? whatever this small sail is. It doesn't light it up that much, if at all, but at least it's not right in front of my face. That actually was that was kind of goofy. Okay, I can just barely see Alchemist Island out there. And like I say, it looks like 3 islands. It looks like 3 really large sharks. Because they're like triangular looking. So it's like 3 huge shark fins out there is what it kind of looks like. And it's still pretty much directly south. Almost. So the winds changed maybe a little bit during this trip, but pretty much the whole trip, basically, it was the least favorable winds, I guess. Although I don't know the speed of it. I guess if it got even slower, maybe it would be even worse. But it was close to, if not the worst wind possibility there. Which is kind of interesting because in this region, you know, as I mentioned, I think earlier, and I could show you again with the nice little thing. The prevailing winds in this region are not exactly northeasterly, but I'm pretty sure they're like this, kind of. So it's pretty close to northeasterly. That's just what it's likely to be most of the time. It could be anything, right? But this whole trip, it's been probably more like this junk here, right? Which is not ideal. Because the winds are basically like, where are you going? Because we started here. Winds are like, where are you going? Oh, hell no, you're not. Where are you going? Oh, hell no, you're not. Because it's like pushing directly against us, you know? And somehow, we're still getting there. Actually, I feel pretty accomplished of that, to be honest, because first few hours of playing this game, I didn't know if I'd get to that point. I was like, I must be a doofus. I loved it. But I knew really early on, like the first 15 minutes, I was like, oh God, I'm going to love this game. But then after about 2 or 3 hours in, I was like, oh, am I too dumb for this game? Or rather, is this a game I can just relax with, or am I going to have to learn, like take a little bit of like a week or so just learning how to sail in real life? Like, I can't afford to do that, so I'm assuming I'd have to like watch videos, you know, and then come back to this game, because I was like, oh, I actually got sad. I was like, that was discouraging. I was like, I love this. I really want to play this, but I want to relax with it. I don't want to have to go and learn how to sail in real life first. But like I say, watching Sim Gamer TV play this and talk about what he's doing, and you know, of course, reading the in-game sailing guide and stuff helped as well. Eventually, I felt, at least with this small ship, that I knew what I was doing, and that if I got stuck, I could even, you know, get it going again. And if I was directly into the wind, I could figure out how to get there if that was my destination and whatnot. So, took a few hours, but after that, it was just, gosh, just so enjoyable. I mean, it was enjoyable early on, like I say, but after that, my character's gonna pass out if I'm not careful. I've basically said, you know, I've decided that if I have to learn a bit more about real sailing, to sail the larger ships, by that point I'll be willing to do it, and I'll have enough of an understanding of the basics that I'll probably be able to do it. Now, the largest ships in this game, it should be said, it is important to say, are actually quite difficult for one person to sail, because they're ships that were designed for a crew of maybe at least a dozen, and you cannot play this game co-op or multiplayer right now. I don't even know if that's ever going to be an option. It probably won't, but it might. I don't know. But so you have to do it all yourself, right? So it means you're kind of running around a lot. You're like, let me change this rope a bit. Oh God, let me run across over there and change that rope. I'm not saying it's completely frantic, and there's ways that you can make it easier by modifying the ships, changing the type of sails they have and stuff. But yeah, it's something to keep in mind. Alright, my character is like way too tired. I'm going to pull the sail all the way up so that I'm only moving a tiny bit while I'm sleeping to play it safe. I'm not going to drop the anchor because I don't feel like it. I'm lazy. But this will work very similar to that. I'll just drift a little bit, and then I'm going to rest. Okay. That should be good. Now, I don't think I'll have to eat or drink or sleep until I'm in port. So let me go ahead and drop this sail back down. Oh, look at that big, beautiful moon. Dang, that is beautiful. That looks really good. Alright, I don't know what I'm doing. I think I'm not getting much speed. It took a bit for me to get a little bit of speed. Let me turn on the lantern. Now I'm going to turn back to the left, or to port. Cross over so that I'm going directly in the wind for a little bit, and then go the other direction. I believe this whole thing is called tacking. I may have that wrong, but I think it's called tacking. When you're moving from a position that's close hauled and you're going to the other close hauled position. And of course, I apologize right now. At nighttime, it's probably pretty hard to see, but I can see the 3 pieces of Alchemist Island out there. And, gosh, I'd like to get there. It's taken such a long time for this journey. You know, because the Neverdin route, oops, I didn't mean to grab that, but that'll work. The Neverdin route to Gold Rock, that's almost matches up with the prevailing winds, right? Actually, it's even better, because in this particular ship, in the lateen sail, this triangular type of sail, you don't necessarily want to be going directly with the wind directly behind you. I mean, that works, but if you want maximum speed, I think you actually want to be deflecting off of it a bit. So this is like, that was probably optimal, or pretty dang close to it. So we went from optimal to the opposite. Where the heck is everything? I think I'm barely moving right now. Get back a little bit more speed. You can actually listen to the sail too. I'm gonna increase the game volume a bit here. Bear with me. Oh gosh, the waves are pretty loud right now. Sorry. But if you listen to the sail, okay, now it's starting. You can't hear it over the waves, though. There. See? Sounds like a flag, right? I think that's called luffing. So when I was pointed directly into the wind, the sail started to luff back and forth, right? It was luffing. It was like a flag. It was not being pushed, or there was no tension on it grabbing the wind and turning that into forward momentum. It was instead just kind of being buffeted back and forth by the wind. If you do that for too long, you'll stall out, right? And like I say, in this ship, you'll start going backwards if you do that long enough. But you can. The point was, you can listen to the sail. I'm gonna go ahead and turn my back on. You can listen to the sail. When it starts sounding like a flag, it's probably flopping around and ain't doing you any good at that. You better change up either how much you've pulled or put out the sheet winch, or change, steer the ship to change your direction so that you get some forward momentum. All right, so it's gonna take a few more minutes to make it into port, and then I can deliver these goods. Look at that. The sun is rising, and I'm almost at Alchemist Island. And it feels like it's taking freaking forever. And this is pretty cool, if you look at those islands, like I say, it looks like multiple islands. Now it looks almost like 5 of them. Like, there's all these shapes out here that look distant enough that they look like separate pieces, right? And they kind of are, but it's all Alchemist Island. But that can be very confusing, It's kind of cool. You have to kind of learn. I think that's actually why this region is listed as having hard navigation, even though the rest of it's easier, because your landmarks are often quite small. and so you don't see them as until you're closer up on them, and it's also probably confusing for new players. Just like if you look at Gold Rock City right now, right? It's freaking huge. Well, we know Gold Rock City is huge. We love Gold Rock City. We don't want it any other way. But the point is, it looks like we're still at Gold Rock. If you think about it, it's like, if you didn't know better, it seems like, oh man, we're real close to that, and a lot farther than that. But actually, we're almost on Alchemist Island now. Gold Rock is a distant memory, but we can still see it because it's freaking huge. So our current location is, probably around here, and yet Gold Rock is still noticeably larger. But that's just because Gold Rock is a massive freaking island. It's just interesting, when you don't have a mini-map or any way to know your exact position for sure, you have to think about these things. Like, it gets immersive doing this too. I love it. Like, you freaking start to feel like you're learning how to sail, like not just how to sail, how to navigate, how to make it in time before your supplies run out and stuff. And like, and what do you do when the wind is not favorable? And it's just, man, it's quite satisfying to start to get to grips with. It can be frustrating at first. It can be frustrating even, later on. But remember, you always have the possibility to recover your boat. It gets end up at the bottom of the ocean, but you can still recover your boat and yourself with the recover boat option. You just press escape, and then let me close my. Yeah. So you press escape, and then the big blue button at the bottom, recover boat. It's a last resort, but it's there. So if you get completely lost, or you sink your ship, or you get to where you just can't get any forward momentum no matter what you do, it sucks a little bit, but you'll lose maybe a day of travel or whatever, and maybe you won't lose much time actually if you're not that far from. But you'll be back at port with your ship, and you'll be fully rested and not hungry at all, not thirsty at all, ready to face the day again. So even if you completely screw it up, the worst you lose is maybe 30 minutes? I don't know. That sounds awful to a lot of people. I mean, modern times we don't lose any progress in modern games. Well, this is a modern game, so I don't know what I'm saying, but you know what I mean. A lot of modern games. The modern game design sensibilities, don't usually favor that. I don't allow for that. So it still feels like it's taking me quite a bit of time. Like I say, I think it's because, my speed, I can't check my speed, but I don't have there is a tool that you can use, but so I can't check it, but just judging by how long it's felt like, I think, and how long this recording has been, I think it's going to be, I think it took about twice as long for the second trip than the first one. But that's alright. This is, like I say, this is a very slow-paced game. In fact, I've played other like cargo transport simulators, like Euro Truck Simulator and American Truck Simulator, and like freaking love those games too. But they have a different feel. There's a different experience there, right? And it's much more engaging on those games, watching the traffic and being aware of your positioning, and watching for the GPS for your next for the next road you need to take and all that. And so you're very active with that stuff. So it's good that you don't have to worry about your hunger and your sleep. Well, you have to worry about sleep, actually. But you don't have to worry about hunger and thirst and stuff like that, and going fishing just to have enough food to make it there. But you have plenty of other stuff to do. Like, you're watching that GPS. You're keeping an eye on maybe your fuel gauge. Maybe not watching it all the time, but you know what I mean. And on this game, if they didn't have the survival elements here, I would probably get bored, because like 20 or 30 minutes to sail to the destination, I guess I'd have to read a book, like actually, like freaking sit on my boat and read a book in real life, while I wait for the boat to get there. I don't know. I'd have to do something, but because you have all those other things, like because you got to drink pretty often. Your thirst meter drops fast in this game. So you're always, having to top up your thirst, maybe get a bite to eat here and there. You're having to watch how tired you are, and you're trying to navigate, figure out where where you are, and all that. That gives you enough to do, so that for me at least, it doesn't really get boring. Although it's pretty freaking slow paced, but it's relaxing. Well, it's relaxing if you're not lost. It's relaxing if there's not a storm crawling right up behind you, threatening to tip your boat over. Those parts are thrilling and immersive, though. Alright, my character is very, very hungry and sleepy and tired. I think of all the things. Thirsty, all of it. I was hoping I could pull into port before I had to sleep again. And I might still be able to do that. But I definitely got to get something to drink and a bit to eat here. Oh, jeez. I could have sworn goat cheese refilled you more than that, but that's fine. Alright, I only had to eat 2 of them. Drink a bit more water. I do feel that maybe the thirst meter drops a little too fast in this game, but like I say, it gives you something to do. You gotta be chugging water all the time. That's something to do. That's my hobby. Your hobby is drinking water? That's my hobby, yeah. Drink water. Sounds awful. It's very affordable, though. Oh, man, yeah, you can almost see some of the structures. I don't know if those are the buildings or something, but you can see some stuff there on Alchemist Island, just barely. So it definitely is looking closer now. Oh, and I'm directly into the wind. It's been Alchemist Island's been almost the whole trip directly into the wind. Maybe I should check the wind before I pick my... Wow, that's what smart sailors do, isn't it? Just realized that. I've thought of that once or twice before when playing this game. But yeah, you could check the wind direction before you set out. Smart. I should have thought of that. It's alright though. It was a challenge. I'm about to conquer it. Eventually. Okay, I can just about see the port or the dock, rather, of Alchemist Island. And I think if I just go a little bit further in this direction, the one that I'm heading right now, and then turn directly at the port, or the dock, whatever, I guess it's both, really. I think I'll be able to head directly toward it finally. Yeah, and you can actually check it this way. If I look at the small flag at the top of the mast and point the camera so that it's basically blowing directly at me, we can then see that that's directly upwind, but the dock is now that direction, which is not directly upwind, which means we can finally get there. Holy crap. I'm going to point directly at the dock and see what happens. I can hear the sail luffing a bit like a flag, so it's not quite ideal, but pretty close. Maybe if I aim just a bit to the left of it, get a little bit more speed. And now back there is the fabled gold rock, and it actually kind of does look smaller now. It still looks pretty big though. Still looks bigger than... Well, almost bigger. Well, about the same size as Alchemist Island now. But you can see it's less detailed, so that it's more obvious that it's farther away. It's more in the fog, you could say. Alright, still gonna take me maybe another 2 or 3 minutes to make it in there, but I'm almost there. dock is getting really close now, so probably need to bring the sail back up a bit, or maybe a kind of a lot, most of the way. And my angle's not that great for getting into this dock, actually. I really should be trying to come up alongside it, but really I'm kind of heading straight at it from the side, like not alongside. That doesn't make any sense, but it's a bad angle, but I'm gonna have to make it work, I guess. It should still be fine. It's a small dock. It's a small ship. As long as I can get one of the mooring ropes connected, I can yank the other one to kind of pull the rear of the ship around closer to the dock and bring it in. That's what I'm gonna probably have to do. So I'm gonna go ahead and maybe bring the sail all the way in now. And the first thing I'm gonna have to do when I arrive here is sleep. Because I'm actually in danger of passing out now. I'm so tired. Come on. Come on. Come on. Alright, I might be able to just try to make a jump that didn't do. Oh, it's not going to stretch far enough, is it? Ooh, let me get... Oh, I didn't do it. Okay, if I can get... Didn't quite make it. If I can get onto the dock, maybe... I don't think I'm going to make that jump, though. Alright, so what I might have to do now is... I'm going backwards now. Okay, I'm going backwards. So this is what happens. I was kind of pointed into the wind, enough for it to start pushing me backwards with the... I think I'm going backwards, yeah. Alright, what's the solution here? Let's see. Just got to get... Oh, actually, I could have just pushed the boat. I just need enough momentum to get to dock. I'm almost there, so I'm just going to get out in the water. Look at the side of the ship, but not the ladder. And press F to push. Did I push it back? Hang on. Alright, so let me see if I can push it forward. Because I probably could get it going again by getting the right angle with the sails and stuff, but it seems simple. Yeah, here we go. I just shove and shove it and shove it and shove it and get enough speed going that way. And then hop back in here real quick here, and gimme, and gimme, what is it? I'm stuck on something. There we go. Grab the thingy, run over here, and maybe attach it while I'm in the water. I can do that too. Boom. Nope. No, it didn't make it. Alright, let me try again. I know I can do that. Pretty sure I can do that. Come on. Come on. Got it. Got it. We made it. Barely. Barely made it, but I did. I mean, I honestly say barely, but it was a little bit of a challenging trip, this one. Alright, now when you've got your lines attached, you can actually look at it on the dock portion here. Press R, and then scroll down with the mouse wheel to pull in the slack, or scroll up to let slack out. So do that to bring the ship closer, and then you can left click to release it, or press F. Look at it and press R to do the same. Oop. Look at it, press R, and then mouse wheel down to bring in the slack on that one. I'm going to just do the other one. I'm alternate until I get it a lot closer to the dock. And then I'm going to pass out. And then it'll be at the end of this episode, so that's perfect time to stop it. I know it's been a long one. I think this episode's going to be quite long, but hopefully it's enjoyable. I absolutely love this game. I just get so much relaxation, so much immersion from it. Plus, I love games where you can deliver cargo and make money. I mean, it just feels good. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this. This has been my first episode of Sailwind. I'm definitely going to do some more episodes, so hope you tune in for those. This has been Mr. Axebane playing Sailwind. Hope you enjoyed it, and take care.